This video is on the summer work math review, part 4. In this part, we are working with our algebra skills. Most of physics is going to involve some amount of combining formulas to get our answer. There are multiple ways of doing this. There's no one right way. There are, however, more efficient paths than others. I'm going to start off with a few formulas. VF equals V0 plus AT. XF equals X0 plus V0t plus 1/2 AT squared. And VF squared equals V0 squared plus 2A XF minus X0. These are the first three equations in this part of your summer work. Now, I'm going to answer the question of solve for XF with the following values. V0 is 5 meters per second, VF is 25 meters per second, A is 10 meters per second squared, and X0 is 3.0 meters. So, the first thing to do is look at the values you're given and find all of those values in the formulas. So, my first formula, I know what VF is. I know what V0 is, and I know what A is, but I don't know T. The second formula, I don't know XF, but I do know X0. I do know V0, but I don't know T. I do know A, but I still don't know T. And in the last formula, I know VF, I know V0, I know the A, and I know X0, but I don't know XF. This is just a quick way of tracking what you do and what you don't know. Ideally, the simplest method would be to pick the equation that only has the one thing you don't know that the question is asking for. A lot of times when I do this, I'll put 2 question marks next to it to say it's something I don't know, it's an unknown, and it's important. So I'm going to use this equation first. With this equation, we have VF squared equals V0 squared plus 2A XF minus X0. My goal is to get XF by itself. To do this, I'm going to start undoing the order of operations. It's buried inside a parenthesis. The order of operations says parentheses come first, but if I'm undoing the order of operations, it has to come last. If I remember my order of operations, addition and subtraction is the last thing that I do. So when I'm undoing it, when I'm isolating a variable, I'm going to do addition and subtraction first. I see this addition sign right here, so I need to undo it. I'm going to leave behind this whole term over here by subtracting V0 squared. That gives me VF squared minus V0 squared equals 2A XF minus X0. Still can't get inside that parenthesis though. So I'm going to move to the next thing, multiplication division. I've got some multiplication going on here. I've got this 2A times the parenthesis. So to get rid of it, I'm going to divide by 2A. That gives me XF squared VF squared minus V0 squared over 2A equals XF minus X0. Since I've gotten rid of the stuff in front of the parenthesis, I don't need that parenthesis anymore. Now that I no longer have a parenthesis, I can go all the way back and redo addition and subtraction. I again want to get XF by itself. It's being subtracted by X0, so I'm going to add X0 to both sides. This gives me VF squared minus V0 squared all over 2A plus X0 equals XF. Plug in my numbers, 25 meters per second squared minus 5 meters per second squared all over 2 times 10 meters per second squared plus 3.0 meters gives me 33 meters. That's one method of doing it. The other method would be to take these two equations. You'll see this middle one has two unknowns in it. I don't know time, and I don't know my answer. But my first equation, time is the only thing I don't know. So what I can do here is solve and substitute. I'm going to take that first equation, VF equals V0 plus AT, and I'm going to solve it for time, because that's the thing I don't know. Minus V0, minus V0. Now divide by A. I get VF minus V0 over A equals T. Now I can take this other formula up here, and everywhere I see a T, I can substitute in this formula. So again, that formula is XF equals X0 plus V0T plus 1/2 AT squared. So wherever I see a T, I'm going to replace it. XF equals X0 plus V0T. I need to replace it with VF minus V0 over A. Plus 1/2 A, and I have another T here. VF minus V0 over A, but this T is squared. You can already see why the other method was a little bit more elegant, but we're still going to work through it and still going to get the right answer. XF equals X0. Now with this V0, I can distribute it in. I get V0 VF minus V0 squared all over A, plus 1/2 of A times, when I have a fraction squared, I'm going to square the numerator, because this is a polynomial term, to VF V0 plus V0 squared all over, and then I'm going to square the denominator, A squared. You'll notice I have an A in the numerator and an A squared in the denominator. That's going to help come into play in a second. So I've got this A in the numerator and an A squared in the denominator. That simplifies down to just a single A in the denominator. I also have this 1/2. That can become a 2 in the denominator. VF squared minus 2 VF V0 plus V0 squared. Now I'm trying to add two fractions. In order to do that, the denominators have to be the same. In order to make the denominators the same, I'm going to multiply this one by 2 over 2. XF equals X0 plus 2 V0 VF minus 2 V0 squared. I'm distributing that 2 in. Plus VF squared minus 2 VF V0 plus V0 squared. All of that over 2A. You'll notice here I have a 2 V0 VF and a negative 2 V0 VF. Those cancel. I also have a negative 2 V0 squared and a plus V0 squared. That will cancel out one of those. This leaves me with XF equals X0 plus VF squared minus V0 squared all over 2A. Plugging in my numbers, I will get the same answer of 33 meters. A lot of times, if you're doing something like this bottom version that I just did, and you feel like you're chasing your own tail, does not mean that you're doing something wrong. However, it might mean that you're doing something the long way. There was a shorter way of doing it. And by using your time more effectively at the beginning and identifying what equation to use, you save your time in the long run. And that's going to be it for this section.